Kevin, Scotty Gomez. Want to take this time to wish you luck and the captains of the 239 Hockey Xbox League. I guess that's what you guys are in. So I think these are some of the names. GL to Devs, Odd, Cabs, Dangles, Knife, Pale, Tommy, Ziggy, D-Mart, Shoddy, Cougs, Gala, plus the players on the draft. And SZN. No fucking clue what I just said. I imagine you guys are playing video games. So hopefully you guys get out a couple times, get some exercise, a little fresh air, not just sit in front of the Xbox. But like I said, the Hockey League 239. We need a big year from all you guys. Let's not what's the word for it? I don't know if that's even right because I don't know if there's anyway. But let's have a good year. Give it your all. Give it your best. When you think of Xbox, think of life. Think of love. Think of there's no tomorrow, no retreat, no surrender at the Xbox League 239. So all the best, boys and girls. If you're playing, it's a new season. Dreams do come true. And like I said, make sure you get outside a couple times. Just don't stay and play video games all the time. All right, guys. All the best. Bye.
So, by request, shout out to Johnny Bales. Now, I do know how to pronounce Bales because Mike Bales was a goaltender for, I do believe, for both Ottawa as well as Boston back in the day. I remember the names much better from 20, 30 years ago than now. Stick taps to the admins. Good luck to all the captains who are apparently Cougar, D-Mart, D-Vets, Gala, Caberlet, Knife, Shoddy, Odd, Tommy, Dangles, and Ziggy. So all the best to you guys. Hope that everything goes well for you. And yeah, online hockey leagues. It's a good idea. I think everything went online during 2020, didn't it? Thankfully, I was way ahead of the game. The whole YouTube thing helped me out because I'm already online. I didn't need to change anything. I just needed to stay socially distanced from myself. It's a complicated process. It's also kind of a painful process. Anyways, all the best to you guys. Best of luck and take care.
All right, 239 Hockey Xbox League. You know, another season has come to a fucking end. You know, everyone here keeps playing the same terrible shit game put out by EA Sports, who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with hockey. I mean, they truly don't understand hockey. But yet, every year they come back, and hopefully one year, the 239 Hockey will make online hockey great again. You know, this league has been around for 29 fucking years. You know, we got Yambag, the founder, who hasn't done jack shit in 28 seasons. You know, he must be a fucking Maple Leafs fan, because that's the Maple Leafs. You know, that's what he is. He's a Yambag is a Maple Leaf. I mean, they haven't been to the Stanley Cup final now in almost 60 years. I mean, not since there was only 6 teams in the league. I mean, that's a joke. You know, and the amends, they just keep fucking around. I mean, do something already. I mean, Gala needs to be fucking banned because Gala doesn't shut the fuck up in Discord chat, and he's always fucking trolling. He's a fucking spammer who is fucking feeble and driving everyone nuts, and he needs to be out the fucking league. But no, the admins do nothing. Then we got Johnny Bales, the media king. You know, he can't find a mute button when he's fucking coughing or snorting fucking God knows what. And then we got Mr. Hollywood. All his fucking food photos are gray and nasty. You know, it just fucking is ridiculous. I mean, seriously, what the fuck are you eating? I mean, fuck. And we know it's time to free Veds. Hashtag free Veds.
I know you guys did an awesome job this season on Into the Crease. You provided play-by-play live interviews for the Hockey League, 239hockey.net. And I just want to say hi to everyone. Brick for Vezina. I guess he deserves it. All right, take care of yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another broadcast here of this Sunday night broadcast here, coming to you guys live, 239 Hockey, and we're coming off the semifinals of the playoffs, if you want to call it the playoffs here, 239 Hockey. I'm your host, Mr. Hollywood here. I've got your recap, the results, what went down this past weekend, which teams are moving on to the finals. It's down to 2. We'll get into all of that. Plus, I want to discuss this whole waiver system here, 239 Hockey. It's not a new system. It's been around since day one here. But I'm going to try to get through this show here. Disgusted is one word. Pathetic. And a couple words here to describe this. And I'll give you my thoughts here, what I think. What I find very astonishing on here is they're not talking about it. You know, you go on the Discord, it's pretty dead on here until today. After these semifinals, nobody here is talking about it, about the situation with Downwell. I'm going to bring it up here, 239 here. I'll let you guys hear my thoughts, what I think here of the semifinals, and in direct aspect in the whole waiver system here. Johnny B, what's up, brother? Welcome. Thanks for joining here on this Sunday night. I'm coming off here a little bit late. Not because I'm sick, not because I'm a bit heated here, but because of the WWE NXT Great American Bash Prime live event that just finished. So I just wanted to watch. I did stream that there as well in the Talk It Up, as I do most of the pay-per-views. But let's talk about this 239, man. Let's talk about the playoffs here on here. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, I've got your scores, your recaps here, and yours truly here. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to say I'm right or not here, I predicted 5 of the 6 series here in this playoffs. Almost pitch straight perfect here heading into the finals. And I've got your finals winners here, right here. The guru, man. Right here, the spell next to me. Who's taking it this season? I'll have that here later on in the broadcast. But let's get things started. So I want to talk about, if you haven't been following the playoffs here, if you haven't been familiar, you may not even know of what's going on there. I mean, you could go back to round 1 of the playoffs on here. You're seeing waivers coming in. Now, I have no problems about waivers being utilized. I mean, that's the whole point of the system, right? Getting the waivers so we have the 6-on-6, so we don't have the computer AI or anything. And the system, for the most part, of these past seasons on here has worked very well. But then here we come in this summer season, and I don't want to give excuse here, man. I don't want to say just because it's the summer season, hey, Mr. Hollywood, why are you being so fucking negative, man? Why you got to be so, uptight about this on here? Listen, man, listen. I'm doing the show on here. It's not because I hate the league. It's not because I'm against the league on here. If that was the case, I wouldn't be doing a fucking show here, man. That's not the case here. I'm talking about the waiver system here. Now, for the most part, majority of the part, I've had no issues with the waiver system. I actually love the waiver system on here. Because here's the thing. The reason we utilize the waiver system, it allows for us to have the low roster teams. You know, a lot of these other leagues, if you look at a lot of these other leagues, man, I'm just reading the chat, man. Fucking Gallo, man. You sick? Is it from the food you eat? Nah, I'm alright with the food, but I did have to, number 2, man, in the bathroom the other night. Was it yesterday or tonight? I don't know. I ate a lot, man. Here's the thing. When I go by my parents' house, man, by my mom's, I don't know about you fellas. My mom is one of those moms, man, one of those parents. There's not many of them like this, man. You come to the house and they constantly feed you, man. There's always food. There's never, if guests come in the house, man, if I come there or somebody ends up bringing the doorbell coming in, she's always got to have food. There's always food there. There's always a plate there. and it's just constant. And me, I'm fucking addicted to food, man. I see food, I don't turn it down. You know, I gotta find a way to say no. Like, you know, no, I'm you know, it just I never get full, and I'll just continue to eat, man. That's my fucking addiction, man. But no, the food was great. Food was great. I'm good. I'm actually just got some seltzer water over here, trying to get through the show here. But so back to the topic on it. If I went a little bit sidetracked here, man. You know, the waiver system, and the reason why I like it, man. A lot of these leagues tend to do the big rosters. You know, you have your big rosters on there, 10 plus rosters, right? And you got to utilize lines, man. Different set of lines where you have X amount of games that you play. You know what I mean? And so you won't see a guy like DMAR playing all fucking best of 7 series, which I find is I don't like that, man. I never liked that. I never liked, you know, handicapping a guy and not putting your best guys out there, especially when it comes to a playoffs. You know, so you gotta. It's more in depth, you know, as far as the rosters. We're here in 239. They keep them a little bit, you know, smaller rosters and utilize the waiver system. When you need a waiver, you bring them in, fills in, and you play these 6-on-6, man. So you know, And the thing I liked about this league, man, what other leagues do is the draft. You know, you have your draft, you select your rosters on there, man. What you see in other leagues, man, after the draft, they have like another draft, man, or they'll have where they'll add in players after the draft. You know what I mean? They'll have leagues do it differently, man. Like that, but it's almost the same concept. So you know what I mean. So, and I don't like that, man. I mean, yes, you could argue, you know, how are you supposed to improve your team or anything. Listen, don't fucking draft like a jack off, man. And then you know you won't have to, you know, deal with that. So I feel, you know, if you're gonna pull a dumb draft, man, if you're gonna fail on the draft, then you know that's on you, man. That's the team you drafted. So that's why I like the system that I run. You know what I mean? You run whether we did the snake drafts, whether you did the bidding draft, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. You know, that's the draft you have. So we don't have that. We don't have that where, you know, week 2, week 3, they have another draft or they add in players that signed up after. You know what I mean? I feel like players tend to sneak in their way onto a team after that, so they're not part of the draft. You know, and so I don't like it. Some may, but whatever the case, that's not something that happens here in 239. Like I said, it's all about the draft. But then you have this playoffs that's going on right now. This summer, you know, I know it's the summer and stuff, and they tweak a couple things, man. And I don't think it was for the better. One of them was they put the bigger rosters. I think now you see 8. I think someone even had like a 9 person roster. I don't know if Big C's squad has 9. I mean, I see Death on there with 0 games, so I don't know if he's actually on the roster or not. But they bumped it up a bit. So you saw 8, 9 man. You know, like, hey, it's the summer season. Let's put the bigger rosters. But here we are, man. We're still utilizing the waiver. So what good does that do? I don't think that was the way to go. I don't think we've always done small rosters, quick seasons, you know, quick turnaround on there. So now you use the bigger rosters. You know, yeah, more guys get on the team and stuff. But what you're hurting in the process is now we got a smaller waiver pool. You know, guys that wouldn't have been drafted on there would have been part of that waiver squad where you see in the playoffs here was needed. Okay, on there. And they had none. Undrafted guys. And here's the thing, man. When I wanted to play in the league here, you know, after my hiatus coming back on there, you know, my schedule was not always the greatest, so I didn't want to hurt a team, you know, coming out there where 1 week I could play, the next week I'm only available one night. So I was like, hey, let me try this full-time waiver, man. Sign up as a waiver. Now, I was told this, man. If I sign up as a full-time, since I'm a veteran coming in as a full-time waiver, I'm pretty much expected that I'm not gonna play any games, man. I was told it's pretty much like 0.02% that I'm even gonna see ice in the season on there. And forget about the playoffs, man. We're not even talking about the playoffs at this point. But that's what it was. Because the reason is you have a whole bunch of undrafted guys, right? And they have the priority, of being placed in there. So that made kind of sense. First, number one, they need waivers, if they need waivers on there. And number two, if they do, the undrafted guys go first, which makes sense on there, which makes sense, absolute sense on there. But what happens when you don't have those waivers? You went with a bigger roster on here now this season, this summer, thinking that's going to solve the problem, where it doesn't. It caused a much bigger issue, I feel, here, because you're seeing now players that I don't even think signed up in the fucking league, man. I mean, it's possible. They may have not, just like, hey, oh, you played in this league? You're available? Jump in, man. Go in on there. So, and that's where I have the problem, man. That's where I have the problem. Because, listen, if you couldn't draft this guy, man, if you're a captain this season on there, there's no way you could have drafted Swizzroll. There's no way you could have drafted Rocco on there. You couldn't. They weren't in the draft pool on there, so you could not draft him on there. And I feel, being in a playoff game, why do you got to play against this guy that you had zero chance of drafting? And here he is, man, in the playoffs on here. I don't like it. I feel it's wrong on that. And number two, man, the possibility of a captain being honest, you're taking the captain's word on here. Is this guy available? Because you're supposed to utilize your roster, okay? Regardless what position, you got to make things work. Whether now you have to, the captain has to slide off, play a different position because this is who you have available. But if you have a guy available, regardless whether you like him or not, regardless whether he's good or not on there, you know what I mean? If he's available, that's your sixth guy. You don't ask for a waiver. It's your roster. The only time you ask for a waiver is if there's zero chance these guys are coming on, man. And you're only gonna have able to field 5 guys on the ice or 4 guys on the ice that you need a waiver on there, And looking at this playoffs here, looking at this semifinal, I mean, you got one guy who everybody knows, fucking Gala on there, who's 24/7 in that fucking Discord, in that chat, never takes a day's break on there. And then here we go, playoffs. 2 nights, man. 2 nights, and he's MIA. He's not there. Not utilized, not able to play on either night, You have a guy like Brinkat as well, man. Not available, not playing the series here. Both these guys are there in that Twitch chat, man. They're commenting, they're saying stuff, you know what I mean? They're not able to play, you know what I mean? So the problem here, man, here's the problem, man, saying all of that. Waivers, now, you're using waivers to improve your team, man. If there was any holes in Big C's roster, right? If there was any fucking hole in the roster spot, it was that defensive side. You know what I mean? And now you're able to get a waiver that's improving your team, and that's where I have the problem, man. That's where the problem lies on here. Now, do I blame Big C? Do I blame Big C's squad on there? Not technically, man. I mean, do we know on here if he's got a 8 or 9 fucking man roster where his team, now picture this, man, his team, we don't play 4 nights or 5 nights on there. We're playing 2 nights a week, man. 2 nights a week where the guy could revoke a night where he doesn't have to play, you know what I mean, number one, or he could pick a night that they want to play. So both nights, you know what I mean, on there where you're only playing 2 nights a week, you're the number 1 man. You're the number one fucking team in the league, man. I'm not talking about a team that's number 7 or a team that's number 8, barely making the playoffs or doesn't make playoffs. So they're fucking trying to get guys, man. They're trying to field their guys. No, this is the number one team in the league on here where, you know, guys want to show up, guys want to play, guys know they have a very good chance about winning the championship. And you mean to tell me both those fucking nights, man, he can't field 6, man. And that's what it was. That's what it came down. He had to use the fucking waivers. He had to use the waivers. He could not play on there. So in comes Swissroad to fill in a full-time waiver, right? A waiver just possibly, maybe you just picked up, like, here, you want to play in the finals? Here you go, man. We're placing you in the finals, man. So I blame the system, man. I blame the guys running the fucking waivers, man. You knew this was a summer season, man. Technically, generally, we have, what, like 8 teams on there? Why are we rolling with 9 teams, number one? Number 2, why we have 8 or 9-man rosters on here, the bigger roster, and you pretty much deflated the waiver system. You got rid of all the fucking waivers now at this point. Plus, you allowed guys to change their availability from part-time to full-time so they could go to one team. So now you have literally nobody. What do you got? Maybe Alpha Dog on there who hasn't even fucking... has anybody even seen this guy? You know what I mean? Who are the undrafted guys on here? I mean, name me how many undrafted waivers do we have for the playoffs? There was none. There was none. Because otherwise, Swissroad will not be in this game. He's a full-time waiver. He's a guy that was not able to be in the draft. So I look at a guy like fucking Mr. Anderson, right? Always in the draft. Always never in the fucking playoffs on here. Why does he even go into playoffs? I mean, why even sign up for the draft? I mean, it just puts a bad picture, man, on the league, on the community, on there for something like this, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but, you know, you can't field fucking 6 guys on 2 nights, both nights, man. I could have said, okay, maybe one night, some things may have occurred, but come on, man. 2 nights, you can't field 6. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're the number 1 squad. Like I said, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not in that lineup. I mean, you know, hey, I mean, is it possible? Now, here's the thing. Maybe it's not the case here, but is it possible a captain could just be like, hey, listen, man, we don't want you to play tonight, man. Call out sick. You're not going to be on here. Is that possible? Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. You know, have guys taking their Xbox, you know, they were away. They had to fucking... hook up to whatever the fucking internet connection is there. Yes, people have done that. People have done, you know, some crazy stuff to do so. Now, I'm not saying they had to or recommend it, but I'm saying it is what it is. It does happen. But to come on there, man, to use fucking waivers in a fucking... It's not the regular season. We're talking about semifinals of playoffs. I mean, how bad as a picture does that put on the playoff picture here, man? This scenario here, I mean, do you put a star on the winner on here? Does it even fucking matter who wins this championship here at this point? Does this fucking title mean anything on here at this point? I mean, you look at it here, you know, you look at a team that fielded 6, right? That technically wasn't their fucking starting lineup, but they fielded 6. They made things work out. Their captain stepped up, played goalie on there, and they got fucking hammered on here, you know, against a team that was already great, but improved with the waiver here, and fucking, you know, and it is what it is. What was it, 4-1 series in a semifinal matchup? What do you blame that on there, man? Was the team that horrible on there? No, man. Was the team that great? Yeah, they were good on there, but, you know, and then you have everything stacked against you, man. You know, you look at round 1. You know, you look at round 1. What team was that? Fucking Terry's team, right? You know, night 2, the guy has internet issues, can't make it on there, so they have to do a emergency waiver on there at that point. So, you know, he gets the shit of the stick on there at that point because he's asking for a waiver the last second on there. You know what I mean? And then so he ends up getting what Ravy Rep filling in on there, and that pretty much dictated that series. You know what I mean? You look at round 2, had Lemansky, we knew Lemansky's squad, right? Very dominant with good, in that lineup on there. The other line, not so well. So should Lemansky have, grabbed a waiver instead? Putting the guys that we know were not that good on their first night too? Would that have changed that series? Possibly. But then again, he's playing against a team there that's utilizing that full-time waiver. Did that make a difference in that series? Absolutely. Did this series here that we was playing in the semifinals, did the waiver make an impact in this series? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Even though I had Big C winning this on here, hey, it is what it is. So, listen, I blame the waiver system 100% here. Absolutely, And I think to prevent something like this, from future seasons here, man, keep what it is, man. Because listen, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this fucking right here, right now. If you had the same waiver system that you had back in remember the older season, you had fucking Chris Stapp on the fucking waiver system. You had Maureen Mike always on the waivers, you know what I mean? And those guys are on the waivers. They're going to be the fill-ins. I guarantee you would have saw fucking Gala in that lineup, in that game. Regardless, he would have brought his fucking Xbox with him wherever the fuck he was at that point and made sure he was in that fucking game playing on there as opposed to doing that. I guarantee it, man, here. You know what I mean? Say what it is. Call me what you want on here, but I'm telling you how it is. So, you don't have, you have zero, man. Zero undrafted guys. Terrible. That's just a poor job. Because we're not looking at a regular season when there's fucking like 8 games going on. I could understand there when there's like 4 other teams that need a waiver, right? That you need another waiver on there. Or let's say you have one of those fucking teams that show up like the finals. They need 3 waivers in the game. Yes, I could understand. But when there's only one waiver needed that night, and you can't supply a undrafted guy from the waivers, that is terrible badge, man. That is terrible on the season waivers. I fault the system 100% on here on that, and that's where we go, man. So let's get to the recap here. Let's see what happened here, what transpired in the semifinals. I'm going to go start off here first with Wizzy War against Cabriolet on here. Semifinals. No waivers used in this series. I don't think there was, but it doesn't matter. So what happened here? Now, here's what I didn't like about Cabriolet. I had Wizzy War. I picked Wizzy War. He wins this series here, 4-1. Not much of a series. I said this, man. I did not like Cabriolet's look. I thought they, yes, I picked them to win last week, but they barely did it, man. They barely did it. Like I said, if it wasn't for those disconnects, having to use that waiver for Terry's team, I don't think they would have won. And what I didn't like about the strategy, what Cabriolet does on here, he did it last week. It didn't, he ended up winning, but I thought it almost cost him the series. Where he does not put his best line right off the bat. You won't see Dom Silva in the first 2 games. Why? Why is Dom Silva not playing in the first 2 games? That is your best defenseman. That's possibly one of your top guys on your team in the lineup. Why are we waiting on him, man? Why are we holding off on him until game 3 and you're down 2-0 in the series? The same thing happened against Terry's squad. He did the same exact thing, but they were able to rally, come back down 3-1 in the series. So here he thinks, okay, we're gonna do the same thing, right? Wrong. So they go down 2-0. Game 1, blowout. Wizzy Ward put fucking all his chips in that first game. You saw C-Dub out there. You fucking saw Wizzy War. This was D-Mart out there. He put everybody. Here, we're coming in as Game 7, and I love the strategy by Wizzy War. Absolutely loved it. It resulted in a 5-1 win for Wizzy War. Game 2, he's like, he's sitting out the guys. We don't need these guys, man. And he rightfully didn't. 3-1, Game 2. And then finally, Cabriolet wakes up here. He's like, all right, let me get Dom Silva. We got to make the rally back here. But why, man? Why you put yourself in that position, in that spot? Why not start off, man? Let's fucking punch him in the face from the start of the series, man. Why are we holding off on Dom Silva? So here comes Dom Silva, and guess what? They fucking win, man. They win 3-0 shutout win for Cabernet. Makes it a 2-1 series. So now Wizzy War's a bit, okay. Remember last week, Wizzy War remembers what happened last week, man, against that fucking Odd Guy squad, man. Married with Children. They went up 2-0. Odd Guy ended up tying that series 2-2. Cabernet is about to do the same thing here. So Wizzy War knew what was up here. Cole back the guys here, man, that we saw in that game 1. In comes C-Dub. In comes D-Mar here. This was a series right here in this game 4. Because you go down 3-1 or you tie the series 2-2. So they bring him in on here. And I believe it was C-Dub. I forget. But they win it. It's a 3-2 win. Barely edging it out on there. But that was the series right there, 3-2. Night 2 comes along here, 1-0. Highlight the only goal in that 5th game, and it's a 4-1 series, man. That's it. Gala Apples. A-Mouth, shut this guy down. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? I mean, this guy comes on here, man. Doesn't even play in fucking playoffs, man, on here. And he's got the nerve to fucking place a comment. Put a comment here in the Discord, but he doesn't fucking play, man. I mean, tell me when I'm wrong, man. Tell me when I'm fucking wrong, man. Am I telling you guys lies? I'm not, man. I'm not, man. I don't believe his shit, man. That's fucking bullshit is what it is, man. Whatever comes out of that guy's fucking mouth, man, whether it's a keyboard warrior on that Discord, don't believe him, man. Do not believe him, man. I don't even think his team believes what he says, man. That's why he's on the bench. That's where he's at, man. You know, it is what it is. So 4-1 series win here for freaking Wizzy War. Like I said, I think Cabernet should have done a much better lineup here. I would have came up straight at him, man. Straight at Wizzy War here. But Wizzy with that line, man, with that C-Dub line, with D-Moore, man, himself, they look very dominant. And I predicted these guys to be the number 1 squad. You know what I mean? After the draft, when he got the guys... he finalized the team on there. I was like, this is going to be a very good team, man. And it does end up being. So you got Jim Flanagan's, Mr. Hollywood's number 1 pre-draft team in the finals here. And then we go on to the other series on here, which I kind of pretty much went over. You know, that's Big C against McSwagger on there. Not much of a contest here in this one. I mean, it's same thing here. It's a 4-1 series win here for Big C. So game 1, Swagger's got to place himself in net. Either goaltender's not there or he's got to rotate guys around, man. And they just get absolutely destroyed here. 6-2. Game 2, not much different. 5-2 win. And then Big C shuts them out 5-0 game 3. I mean, that's how this series started off, man. How Swagger even got a win here in game 4 is surprising. They took won it there 4-2. I know the goalie was tremendous in that game as well, though, man. That could be a big part. And then night number 2, game 5 here. Absolute blowout, 8-1 on here. But listen, man, I mean, Swagger... he did what he could, man. I mean, here's a guy that took over a team, you know, mid-season here, brought them into the semifinals, man. I mean, a lot of guys did not even predict these guys were going to make the playoffs. They did. Did not get past the round 1. They did. And then they played that Big C team, which I said is above everybody else, man. He's just on that different level as opposed to the other teams, and he shows it here. So now we're coming down to basically the top 2. You got the number 1 overranked team there in the finals, man, against Mr. Hollywood's number 1 preseason ranked team with Wizzy War. This is going to be tremendous, although I got to say this, man, there's some chatter in the chats, especially earlier today, as opposed to as far as schedule-wise goes. As far as availability, will that be a key part? Will the waiver thing come around here again? Will we see it in the finals? I think we are, man. I think we are. So is it a luck of the draw, man? Who gets who who plays when, man. Because if Wizzy War cannot get C-Dub, man, for 4 games here in this playoffs, they don't got a shot. They don't got a shot here. I'm sorry, they don't, man. Big C is just too stacked on there. I think they're going to walk right over him, man. I think they are. And that's why I'm going with Big C. I think Big C takes it here once again. New season, new team. Doesn't matter. He's captain teams well, and he's captain a hell of a team here with this one. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully these games are played this week. I don't know what nights there are. I know Johnny B is going to definitely have those posted. Follow his Twitter or his Twitch chat on there. He's always got the updates on his streams. Who's been bringing you guys the coverage here throughout this season, man. Throughout the season. And we'll see what happens here for the finals. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, I'm going with Big C here. Although, like I said, Wizzy War, man, can he produce C-Dub here in this series? He's going to need to. He's going to need to. We'll see if Chom Lee steps it up, man. That's another guy. They've done well, man. They've done real well here in the playoffs thus far against Odd Guy Squad, which was a very talented team, against Cabriolet. So they've definitely been tested here in the playoffs. Whereas Big C here has been rolling by, man. I mean, I don't know when the last time he saw Game 6, and that's going from last season as well, man. So we'll see what happens. I think that's all I got here tonight, man. I think that's all I got here for you guys. I think that's all I got here for you guys, man. Not much else here. Like I said, I was watching the Prime, the live event there, so I didn't really go over much there. But we'll have your finals. Johnny B is going to bring the live coverage, and I'll get your results in on here. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, fingers crossed here, man. These guys get a lineup on there. I don't think Wizzy War has utilized a waiver, man. Does he get Swizz rolled automatic, man? Does that how to work, man? Or here's an idea, man. If they're gonna use a fucking full-time waiver in the playoffs, man, I mean, why not let the opponent place that waiver where they want to see fit on the spot? I think that's fair, man. Listen, you can't put you've got a team, right? You can't field 6 on there. Why benefit the team, man? Why allow that team to be better than what they have on the roster? Let the opponent who actually shows up with 6 decide what position that waiver plays. Because listen, it's a fucking waiver, right? So he's supposed to expect it to be wherever on the ice. So have the opponent place the waiver. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, you've got a guy like D. Mark coming in, right, as a waiver fill-in, man. Put him on that left side of the ice, man. Is he as good on the left? Or put him in fucking net, man. Let the team circle around their roster, man, you know. But like I said, I think if the undrafted waivers, if we had some on here, it'll be a total different playoffs. I think that's what really screwed it up. I know it's the summer season on here, but come on, guys, man. We got to get this right here. You cannot have fucking waivers fill in and dictate a series on there. It doesn't give a good picture. Regardless how you look at it, man. Regardless how you look at it, it does not give the league. It's just the integrity of the league itself, man. I mean, you don't want to see that, man. You want to see the team actually go out there and win the championship. And hopefully we get that. Hopefully we get that here in the finals. I'm praying for it. We'll see what happens. Good luck to both teams. Mr. Hollywood, signing out, fellas. Have a good night, everybody.